Good morning. My name is Marie Nugent, and I have a business, an entrepreneurial business that supports women that are going through challenging times, so that you can actually allow yourself to sparkle and shine. And I'm joined this morning with Martina. Martina, you have, let's see, joined, wave. You should, Martina, you should get join live. If you press on that, you should be able to connect with me. It should come up on your, page. Ah, there you go. Send a request. You. And let's see.
Hello.
Hey! You did it!
I look like it's very. It looks like it's very dark in here. And you're very bright.
I'm very bright. Well, yes, well, I am very bright,
Yeah.
just the space that I'm in.
I'm just gonna.
So great.
I'm just gonna get some light here. Hang on 1 second, Marina.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Yeah.
Well, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. I had a moment because I came down this morning and I went to get onto the internet and it said nothing. And I says, oh, that'll be interesting. So I immediately went into how are we going to reschedule this, blah, 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 the whole scenario. And then I unplugged it, plugged it back in again, and it worked. So here we are with the magic of modern technology.
I know it was fine, but sure. Look, that happened to me. Was it not last Saturday? The Saturday before, with Loughrea Community Radio. My phone went blank. My internet. I think it was the day when the internet went down as well. But everything went blank for me. Nothing, and my phone just froze, so I couldn't get into the.
Couldn't get into anything.
No, couldn't get into anything. So I just said, you know what? I just got to go with it. This is where I am now. So,
totally. And we panic about things that we have absolutely no control over.
yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Martina and I do a radio show called The Link on Loughrea Community Radio, and I interview the people behind the businesses here in Loughrea. And Martina is on my opposite Saturday, and she has a program called Soul Edge, where she deals specifically with music and Irish artists and what's going on in the area. And as she's an artiste herself, she's right at home with this. So Martina, we're here to talk about sound healing.
Yeah.
So can you say a bit about yourself and your business, and then we'll go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, sure. So for anybody who knows me, I'm known maybe as a singer and singer-songwriter and a singing teacher, but I also studied sound and voice back in 2016 now, I think it was. So I do a few different things regarding sound. So I do a sound as a therapist, where I would have somebody on a plinth and I would be using my voice. I'd be scanning their body with my voice, and I would be seeing what frequencies are missing, and then I would be using sound, putting sound into the body. So that's one thing I do. The second thing I do, I give a treatment to you, Marie, is biofield tuning, and that's with tuning forks. And
fabulous. I love the vibration.
Yeah, I'm just working in the energy field around the body, and I'm using the tuning fork to, pick up any resistance or turbulence that might be in the energy field. And then I do healing voice as well. That's very powerful, really, when you get a lot of people together, and they're singing together, and that's chanting and doing overtone singing, like mantras, and we're just on one note sometimes, and
Yeah.
that's for, you know, that's for everybody. So I do that as well. Yeah, so sound.
So what is your business? Oh, we're getting feedback now. What is your business called, Martina?
Oh, a transformation through sound and voice.
Your sound has gone now a bit.
Sorry,
Speaking of sound,
yeah, my business.
that's better.
Yeah, transformation through sound and voice.
There you go. So Martina's transformation through sound and voice. Now, I've interviewed Martina myself, so I know sort of like her backstory. You started off as you actually started off as a hairdresser, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And then you used to do gigs in Ballinasloe, where you did the pubs at the weekend, and you built up your following from then. So you were already interested in music.
Yeah. Oh God. Always, since I was going to school, really, that's all I wanted to do. You know, unfortunately, there wasn't any music classes, which was detrimental for me, really. But so I just decided not to do it. So, you know, my parents would go to a parents' meeting and they'd say, Martina is just writing songs. Terrible, terrible. So yeah, so that's always what I wanted to. And you know,
but it took its own path, didn't it? So what was the thing that really so I know it's like an evolutionary, so what would be the first thing that you went into from a sound healing point of view?
From a sound healing point of view, I went on a workshop because I became a singing teacher back in 2008, I think. And so I was working with voice, learned all the technical stuff about voice, but I also, you know, due to my own health and also I would be working with people and, you know, finding that I'm doing all this and yet, you know, there's more there. And I think because I'm very tuned into energy, I did bioenergy a few years ago, and I've always been you know, I'd always pick up on stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was beginning to feel that, you know, a lot of stuck energy. I had one particular girl, and her voice was always going really hoarse, and her mom said to me, I don't know, you know, what it is. She wakes up in the morning and her voice sometimes is gone. You know?
Yeah.
You know, it was like a very older voice, and so, and I had tried, you know, technical stuff, and it was working a bit. I just felt there was something with her, counseling as well at the time, but I didn't know any backstory or what.
Okay.
Anyway, it turned out that her dad was killed in a car accident, and yeah, there was a lot of
A lot of trauma there.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
stuck in her throat. It was stuck in her throat. And you know yourself, when we say, you know, spit it out, or say, oh God, I have a lump in my throat.
Yeah.
Something happens, or you get butterflies in your stomach. It's because,
Yeah.
you know, energy is stuck there. And
Yeah.
and we can, I mean, I have people, often you'll see them come into the studio and their shoulders are up like that, and they don't relax.
Yeah.
That because they're walking around with that tension all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about it is you know, trauma and all of that, trauma and our memories, and what I was talking about there a few minutes ago, biofield tuning, that was founded by a lady called Eileen McCusick, and she discovered, she was a massage therapist, and she discovered a map of the field of the body, and she discovered that, you know, not alone, we know the trauma is stored, and memories and all these emotions are stored in the body, but they're also stored around the body, and that's that amazing discovery. And you can feel when you're using the tuning fork, you can feel resistance, and you can feel, you know, the you can feel the waveform. You know,
Yeah.
the person on the bed can sometimes feel it if you're going through a turbulent area. And you know, it sounds mad, but I had the experience myself, in a very, you know, overwhelming experience, that I went, oh, I have to learn this.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, and you've touched on something. Then usually if you find something that really suits you and resonates with you, that's always a great place to start, and say, you know, do you know what, there's more to this. I need to know more about it. And it's interesting because what you're saying is, and an awful lot of people aren't, you know, we're aware of our bodies, but we're not aware of the energy that, you know, comes out from them. You know, the ad that was years ago, the Ready Break ad, where you basically had, you know, it showed you with your aura, that white, you know, that white silhouette that came out from you.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that, you know, that, because this is going way back, that people wouldn't, you know, it was sort of like through TV that you could see aura, you know, or auras, or, you know, our perception of it. But it's,
Yeah,
we've gone a long way since then, and it's become more sophisticated.
it has. But you know,
So for you,
yeah, the thing about it is, I hope I'm getting texts here. I hope they're not coming up. But
no, you're right, Johnny Unplugged. Hope you're okay. Pine tea.
God, how can I turn off?
No, I think it just comes up, Martina. I know it's probably a bit
Does it?
distracting, but anyway,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, the thing about it is, you know, the energy and all this sort of thing and vibration has come a long way. But what is true as well, that these are old beliefs, and you know, and it's, if you look back to centuries ago, they knew more than we did now.
yeah.
Because a lot of this information has been kept for us. And I was only watching actually the other day, a documentary about Nikola Tesla, and I
Oh,
certainly,
yeah.
yeah, I certainly never learned about him in school. I learned about Edison, and always believed that Edison invented the light bulb, you know, when he didn't at all. But
Yeah.
but Nikola Tesla was doing amazing, you know, he was doing
Yeah,
amazing,
he was a genius. Absolutely.
and he was doing amazing things, and he found out, actually, they started doing experiments with vibration. He actually caused a bit of an earthquake at one time, where all the buildings to shake where he lived. So, and he did experiments on different frequencies, and they were like 2 or 3 years doing these frequencies, and eventually they found two frequencies, that when they were subjected to microorganisms, that they shattered the microorganisms. And it was back when you think, you know, the late 18th century, or sorry, the late 19th century, you know, and
You're absolutely right. There was an awareness out
yeah,
there.
all
Yeah,
that.
but humanity wasn't ready for it.
No, I mean, all that was I think it was President Obama. He didn't do many good things, but there was two he did, I think, as he declassified those documents. But when they came back, a lot of stuff was missing. So, you know, there's a lot of theories. He's done a lot. I'd say that, you know, we know, that's way ahead of us, but you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't let out. So, you know, this is something, and it amazes me sometimes when cancer, I suppose, that, you know, we are, and different ailments. Only cancer, when you look at it at this stage, I mean, since I can remember being a kid, there's been collections outside maybe the church gate on a Sunday when you'd be coming from, you know, Mammy would have dragged us all to mass. But you can remember those. They're still going on. There must be
Yeah.
zillions and zillions of dollars and pounds collected. And, you know, the best we can do is chemotherapy or radiation, which
Yeah.
now I know it probably works for some people. In my opinion, it's like burning down your house to kill the rat, because
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely in a time of change, and I totally agree with you as regards sound. that, you know, from the frequency, sure, I mean, we wouldn't have the technology, we wouldn't have only for ultrasound, and that came from sonar, and that came from the dolphins. So there's more in the natural world that we have to investigate, and that has to be, you know, part of what's happening. Sound, and I also think color therapy. I think using color rays and things like that, that's also going to be another thing that, you know, it's just in keeping the world in focused in one direction. You know, I'm sure there are people out there that are doing investigative work and doing some, you know, following their intuition and in going into sound and going into vibrations that are going to bring the healing more into the natural world. And you know, so it's an exciting time from that point of view. But you discovered, because I don't know whether you want to talk about it, but you were diagnosed a few years ago. You had, which is very unusual in Ireland, you've got Lyme's disease.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't diagnosed now. Here's the thing.
Oh, you weren't diagnosed, yeah.
Yeah, because nobody found it.
But you went and you got the test done, and but because it's not. I know we've heard of Lyme's disease, but that's usually something that happens like somewhere else. You know, it's not normally that, you know, somebody would be diagnosed with it in Ireland. And I know because a lot of the tests that you knew that there was something wrong, and you actually went and investigated yourself, and when you got your own tests back independently, then they diagnosed that this was, you know, so this is what it is that you were facing. You had a lot of symptoms that you didn't know what they were, you know, rashes that were coming out and dizziness that, you know, so you had symptoms that you had no apparent causes for. Yeah.
Neurological complaints, but luckily I was guided, I would say, by source, find to the things, and the answers were put into my head, and I chased them, and that was it, and I got an answer myself. But I mean, it's not I didn't get it here, you know what I mean? I didn't get it.
No, I know. You had to follow your intuition.
And I didn't get it here. I had to send away to a lab myself, and that was it. And I treated myself. Then I went on a journey too. I went, well, you know what? I'd read enough of stuff about how powerful we are that we don't realize, because, you know, we are, as I was saying about, you know, cancer and all different things, there's many roots into the body. There's the vibrational root, and we are electricity. We are, you know, that's what we are. So in every sense, I looked at my life, and I still do, from a vibrational sense. I mean, from what I eat, to my environment, to all of this sort of thing, because all of this has the vibration. I mean, if you're eating food of a very low vibration, you know, all the things like, you know, the fried foods and sugar and all that sort of thing, they vibrate at, you know, it's common knowledge, because they can frequency of everything. But the higher vibration food, vegetables and fruit and all that sort of thing. So you know, I try to eat high vitamin foods, take supplements. I have spoon and forks in myself. I have plates actually that I use. I'd have them on my bed, or especially in the last, you know, year, to keep my frequency. And well, I won't say high, because we don't.
No. We live in the real world. Yeah.
All the time. But when your frequency drops, I mean, they know the frequency of many ailments now. You know, when your frequency drops and your frequency goes low, then you're not in good vibrational health. Illness, things kick in. And that's not just, as I say, it's very much your environment as well, your job, the people you hang around, your environment. All these sort of things are what keep us well. And, you know, during all of the lockdown, I never had one iota of a fear of getting anything, because just because I know I came so far in healing myself, and I now know, it's not that I'm, you know, a friend of mine said to me one day, I remember I was saying I was doing a detox, or or you know, saying that, oh, I don't eat meat or I don't eat dairy or whatever, and she was like, oh God, life is short. And I said, everything I eat, I think when food like that becomes a punishment, then you're not on the right track. You should
Yeah.
enjoy. It's the vibration.
You should enjoy what you eat. Yeah. Yeah.
Enough, you know, there's enough good things to eat. There's enough lovely fruits out there. You know, you can make, I mean, I make lovely bars here, nuts and dates, and put chocolate over them, and it's as good as any packet of biscuits. And
Yeah.
you know, and it's not like I don't ever have a takeaway or a drink or something like that, but just in general, and I can eat crap too. But in general, I am very mindful about what I eat. I'm also very mindful about even where it comes from. I don't support any corporations if I can, because I think even of the energy, you know, that came from, if a if a lot of people suffered, get it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
The vibration that the energy that it's carrying as a
yeah,
corporation and as a company, the way it treats its peoples, the way it treats its workers, that it filters down to the actual food and how it's produced. I was out at the Bullawn Ark last week because I'm inviting Shannon and Charles on to my radio show. I'm going to interview them, and they produce really high vibrational foods because, you know, in the way that they produce it, and you know, they produce salads and stuff like that that they bring down to Galway and that you can get from them personally, you know, and that, you know, even just being out there and seeing the way the food is prepared is just amazing. It just has a totally different feel to it.
yeah, exactly, because they have a lovely regenerative farm, and that's where I would go,
Yes.
veg and stuff. Um, and it's gas to see their little fella Harvey. I mean,
Yeah.
Harvey is, I look at him and I say, what a happy child, because Harvey is going around picking, you know, Charles often says he won't leave the carrots alone. He's picking, you know, he's picking at, you know, some of the, and he can tell me, if you go around the farm, he'll go, that's Celtus. And, you know, he knows that's fennel. He knows all the different herbs and all the vegetables. And I was like, how amazing. Another child, you know, maybe doesn't even know what an avocado is. He is so, you know what I mean, to be able to bring up children in that way and to be able to live in that way. And I think it's very doable for a lot of us now. I wish that maybe when I was younger and younger, that, you know, I was living more in sustainable, I suppose. And again, you've got to find yourself and find these things at the right time. But yeah, so all of these things are vibration. You know,
Yeah.
people often you know, forsake themselves on an energy level too, about going off to somewhere they really hate, like to a job they really hate every day, and on a vibrational sense, off to something you really hate every day, that's low frequency, because
Yeah.
you know, you're not going to be in a good vibe. You're going to be
No.
dragged down by it. You know, same with being in a relationship. You're with somebody who is keeping you down, or, you know, again, you're on a lower vibration. You're not feel good. So all these sort of things. I mean, so I suppose people look at it in different ways. For me, I look at everything from a vibrational sense now, and
Yeah. And when you're talking to somebody, do you get a sense of what's going on with them? Like, do you get it as like pictures, or do you get it as sensations, or do you get it as feelings? Like, or is it all three? Like, for you, how does it work?
it could be all three, but you just get a feeling. I mean, and I
Yeah.
think, you know, the sound of somebody's voice, you can tell so much from the sound of somebody's voice. And often when somebody even just calls me up or comes for a class, even for a singing class, or be it for a healing, you know, sometimes if somebody's feeling quite down or whatever, in general, their tone is low,
Yeah.
they speak a lot slower. than somebody, because you're kind of like high vibe when you're feeling down. It's slower and more sluggish. So yeah, things like the tone really as well too. If somebody is not maybe in a good place, their voice might be a little bit, not always, but like hoarser. But then of course you'd have a lot of I also find a lot of people who might have their voices are quieter because they've always been, maybe as a child we're told, don't make waves,
Be seen and not heard. Yes.
not heard.
Yeah.
So you'd find a lot of women like that they speak very much in their breathier voice, because they have lost a bit of their power, So all that things, so things you just pick up.
Yeah. I can ask you, is there like, so for using your voice, you teach people about exercises, I would imagine, as well, so that they can allow their voice to be heard and to be seen, because it depends on how confident you are in yourself, whether you want to be seen and heard. But as a result, then when you do want to be seen, sometimes you get lost in the whole thing of the frustration of trying to be seen and heard, because you've put yourself in the background for so long that when you do step forward, then it can be quite challenging. So from a voice point of view, do you give people exercises to exercise their vocal cords so that they can, if people want to get up on stage, say that that they can exercise so that they can be able to project, so that they can almost like step into a person that wants to step into that persona, that I'm here, what I have to say is of value, I want to be seen, I want to be heard. And if somebody came to you, what would you say to them, like from a voice point of view? How would you work with them?
Yeah, well, I suppose if somebody is coming, I have lots of people who come who are singers maybe and who want to get their voice stronger or want to get better at performance. I would teach a lot of children, and then from a holistic point of view, I take I look at the whole sort of package. But in general, I think the most overpowering thing, I work with healing voice and doing healing voice in groups. I think for anybody, definitely for me, and I am somebody who would I've learned all the technical stuff
Yeah.
of using your voice and all of that. But I found the most powerful and empowering thing is to make sound every day, and not I sit down in the morning and I'll do my meditation, and then I will just make sounds, and it might be, or I might do an because
Yeah.
is it's like, even when if somebody was gone, they could say the AUM. They're, if you listen to a baby before they can speak, they're learning to say those are the, those are the
Yeah.
A, and then so
Oh yeah.
they resonate different parts of the body. So you're going to feel that very much, down your solar plexus, kind of down around and down around that. When you go for ooh, you'll feel it a lot more, maybe here. Then when we do
yeah, your sinuses, great for your sinuses. Yeah.
You can feel the resonation up here around your nose and all that sort of thing. So you are resonating those different chambers and opening up those energy centers. So I would do maybe an and I have different kind of mantras. But even if somebody who's never done any singing, this, you don't have to be a singer. Do this, is do an close your eyes, focus on your breath, and start off with your
yeah.
Also, I would say to somebody, bring all the vowels up the body. So you're starting off with A, E, O, U.
Okay.
And you can see sometimes, again, close, if you've done that from a so you're bringing it up and down. You can visualize it up and down the body. And sometimes you'll feel blocked. You know, I often say to people, which do you find the easier? Which vowel did you find the easiest one to do? Because they're all the vowels can be associated with all the different energy centers in the body as well. But that,
with different emotions, yeah.
But that resonates. That's a good one. They're good ones, just simple ones to start off with. Getting to know your voice for somebody who would, you know, maybe doesn't sing all of the time and just want to exercise their voice and get more connected to it. So that would be the vowels A, E, O, U up the body, and then just making sound. Say, how does my body? I do this. I work with some autistic kids because I work with Music Generation as a tutor as well. So I use this. They love it actually. I just say, how are we all feeling today? And we make sound. And that is just closing your eyes, making any sound that you feel comes into your head. And very powerful because it's a great way for shifting traumas and stuff like that. You know, for myself personally, I'm someone who would be singing a lot. And when I did those exercises, I remember when I went to the first workshop I ever did, that I felt that was like I was a mess on the floor, you know, all of my head, because I was moving old stuff that was just stuck in the body. And
movement as well is important, isn't it? Yeah. And do you know what? I think sometimes you know, even just get up in the morning and to sing along to the radio and dance, even, you know, just something that if you don't want to get into the ooh-ums or whatever, you know, you feel that, pick a song and sing to it and bounce around to it. Already you're uplifting your energy for the day. And when you do that, it's like you attract different things. So you do.
Because that's the one thing that kind of makes me a little bit sad sometimes, I suppose, because there is a big portion of people that feel that singing is not for them, and that singing, because we've come to know singing as people performing, and we have shows that show us that you're judged for your voice, it's not good enough, and you sound a certain way. But the truth is that, like, years ago, back centuries ago, everybody sang. Use their voice, and not in a sense of it wasn't something to be judged. So I think we need to get away from the expressing it more into the expressing, because, you know, sound was used in every ancient tradition, and even in ours, in our Irish tradition, sound was used it was used when people died. It was used to you know, to especially, I suppose, in times of famine. And if you look back, you know, South or
but the wakes, Martina, the key, you know, there were women that used sound, you know, to release the grief, to, you know, that was their job, you know, to bring in that energy and to, you know, you can nearly see them, you know, just channeling that vibration through them and releasing it, you know, which is absolutely fascinating. So it is. So, you know, and we have lost it, you know.
I heard a great story actually. A lady called Jill Pearce, who does healing voice, and I've been a fan of hers for years. But she tells a story about when she was a child, you know, how she kind of got into sound. Her father was a doctor, said he was very eccentric, and they used to come to Ireland a good bit on holidays. She's British, but they went out in a storm one time, and they went to the Aran Islands, and they were on a boat, and she said there was nobody on the boat, anybody on that in a stormy night. There was herself and her mum and her dad and her brother, and there was women on the boat. They were going back to the islands, and the storm got really bad, and the boat was rocking back and forth. And she said that the three women started to sing.
Yeah.
She said this amazing resonance, and she believed they would have sank. They started, she said it was just spontaneous. The three women started making sound, and joined in. And she said they were on a boat, using, singing to save themselves,
Yeah.
basically. And they made it to the other side, and that really hit a chord or resonated with her, and she became very fascinated with sound. But yeah, this is the thing that I had, for myself. This was a really nice story. Myself and my went to Italy a few years ago, and we were doing this lovely mountain climb, and I don't know, I just got a lovely echo and everything, that I just had this sensation to start singing
Yeah.
and making sound. And Rihanna was kind of looking at me because there was around, stop, ma'am. And I was, but I wasn't stopping. So I kept making my sound, loving hearing it back to me. And next thing,
Yeah.
somebody sings back to me, and somebody else back to me, making sound. So
No.
yes. So, and I was going, just kind of making up melodies in my head. And next thing, so I hear another voice, another voice, and it was two women, two American women, and they were in it, and it had been the mum's 60th birthday, and they came to Italy and to be together. They met. She met her other sister along the way, so there was a lovely little seat, and we all ended up meeting. I was there with my daughter, and we sat down for about an hour, and I said to Rihanna, "See, it was my singing."
The magic of
Oh,
voice, connecting. Yeah. The power of connection.
yeah, the power of
Yeah.
connection. I did the same thing when I was in Portugal a few years ago. Again, we were in Lisbon. We were taking a taxi, and we wanted to go to this lovely little restaurant where they were doing, there was lots of traditional music and stuff. So I was just asking the taxi driver, Portuguese music and that sort of thing, and he said, I said, what sort of music do you like? And well, I like all different types. I like country, and I wouldn't have put a country music person. But anyway, I said to him, he said, what sort of music, traditional and Irish in Ireland? And I said, I do sing some traditional music. And he said, I'd love to hear it. So I done a Shano song.
Yeah.
And he really loved it. So there we were in the taxi, and Rihanna's kind of like looking at me saying, oh my God, here again.
Here she goes again. Congratulations, Martina. You've lived long enough to be an embarrassment to your child.
Yes. So we're chatting away there. So he ended up, he said, friended me on Facebook and asking me for singing lessons. So for
Yeah.
me, gave him singing lessons from that small encounter that we had in
Yeah.
the taxi. So that is the power. I just think, well, the power of always talking to people. I think using your
Yeah.
voice, but singing. We made our first connection with me just using my voice. But it's, I think that's, and I think even after the last year of body has been through, I think we need to be on the streets celebrating at some stage with
Singing.
all
Yeah.
singing, singing of singing together of our joy, of
Yeah.
how wonderful it is to be alive and to have each other and all that sort of, and to have the how important all that sort of thing is, how important our interaction, how important our voices are when it comes to it, how able to say hello to somebody, to and be able to embrace somebody and
Yeah.
and to be able to speak up for yourself and all that sort of thing. So I
Yeah.
think I hope that everybody's going to be on the streets,
Dancing
you know.
and celebrating and
And,
singing. Yeah,
yeah.
I was talking to my sister, and she was saying that you know, for I think that some of the in Cork, some of the roads have actually been closed off so that people can sit outside, that they can dine together, and I think, isn't that a great, you know, a great thing to do, that you would allow people to take over a space so that we can all get together,
Oh,
and I know, because I love networking, and I've been part of a networking group for years, but I found that I would end up that, you know, women have a gravitational pull that, you know, connects them together, particularly if they're of the same vibration, you know, the same frequency, the same thoughts, the same feeling in the ability of what it is that they can create and contribute to the world. And I've had the most fascinating discussions with people that you would never think would happen. And it's simply because, like that thing, the power of connection, that when we get together, we create, there's a magic. And we both come away, you know, after the conversation, uplifted and
uplift. Yeah,
inspired. And you spread it out, you know, it just expands out, because when you come home, you're in great, you know, you pass that on, and you also create space for yourself where you've allowed magic to happen.
absolutely, absolutely. It's so important. It's so important. And speaking on a vibrational sense, you know,
Yeah.
that makes us feel good, you know.
Yeah. There you go. Well, you see, we wouldn't have met if we hadn't been, you know, if I hadn't joined, let's say, the radio, you know, hadn't met Denise, wouldn't have met you, wouldn't have been on the radio, probably, you know, because we meet such amazing people that are so much more than the roles that they play. And for women in particular, I think finding your voice, because after centuries of, you know, that whole imprint that we hold in our, you know, DNA, that we're actually overcoming, you know, and so everything that we do, and I'm full of admiration for women that do it, like, that started younger, that are starting now in their 20s and 30s to explore the world, that, you know, to see what resonates with them, what feeds them, what inspires them, you know, to allow themselves to listen to the voice, to their intuition, and allow their voice to be seen and heard. And you know, I think that's why I think I love the fact of living in Ireland, because we have a sense of magic.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are always people out there, you know, that will gravitate towards you, and you will gravitate towards them to create even more magic. And I think, you know, that's where you come in. So, Martina, do you know, I think, God, we're on 3/4 of an hour, would you believe? So how can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I was just looking at that there, because I made my notes. I said, in case I forget to say, advertise something. So I'm doing a healing voice course online. There's 10 videos, and I haven't written, except I just have the videos. I have 3 videos done. I just have to get my videos sorted. So I have that's an online course. Luckily now, because things have opened up a bit, I'll have some healing voice workshops, and back to doing one-to-one sessions. Also singing classes. I'm working on a
So people get in contact you through your website, or do they contact you? Yeah, through your website.
Not sure if you'll get into it now, because it's under construction for the last year, but it's nearly
but even
there.
through, you know, through Instagram,
yeah,
you know, the Clarity Martina.
If you look up Transformation Through Sound and Voice, you'll find me. Lochray Vocal Classes, Transformation Through Sound and Voice. I'm also working on a children's CD and affirmations, you know, just meditative for them.
I love that. I'm big into the power of, you know, of affirmations, but those that are set not under pressure. But, you know, because sometimes you're saying, you know, you can be saying them, trying to create something, but so that you can relax into them and go with the rhythm of them, you know, you know, that you can, yeah, and that's where you create it more rather than if you're under pressures and, you know, where you're trying to create something, you're trying to push something to happen. Whereas if you relax into it and, you know, and feeling it, you know, the fact that that whole thing of, oh my God, you know, today is going to be a great day. I'm going to meet amazing, wonderful people. You know, the power of intent. We don't use it half so much, you know, that to put out there what it is we like as opposed to reacting to what comes to us. But, you know, that we, you know, I've set up a Monday circle where people can get together. The same thing, it's like where you can let go what it is that you want to let go, but then it is what is it you want to create? What would you want to allow to happen in your week, you know, so that we can be the creators of our own magic, which is absolutely fantastic. So your website, so you're going to have when are the classes going to be available, Martina? The 10 videos.
Yeah, the Healing Voice and online course, that will be ready, I'd say, by the end of June, July. I'll have that up online.
Okay. Great.
Voice workshops coming up in July, one-to-one sessions from anytime.
Anytime, yeah.
Yeah, give me a call. And yeah, my number and all of that, if you check me out on Facebook or any of the usual platforms, social media platforms. So yeah, and hopefully, you know, as the year goes on, then I started writing, you know, songs for myself as well. So hopefully to get to record a CD for myself and my own music. And of course it was the retreat I had started in Spain. I had started that before lockdown. So whenever we're able to travel again, that's
you go to a retreat, sort of a retreat, is it?
Yes, I'm part of a network called Self and
Self what?
Self Retreats Ireland.
Self Retreat, okay.
Ireland and Spain. And it's a network of therapists. So we bring people to Malaga, a little place called Mijas. There is a retreat center there, and I went back and I worked there the year before, in 2019. I did time there, and that was it. I went over to experience it myself. And yeah, the network was just set up that time and met wonderful people. So my first retreat was supposed to be last September, but so that would be you would get a week in the sun for 7 days, your food, your therapies. I would be doing sound and voice, but I would be also maybe working with a therapist, and in who would be, but there'd be lots of different therapies like energy, dance, yoga, all these sort of things.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You get a day excursion as well into Mijas, to a chocolate making. There's a lovely lady there. She has a lovely chocolate making factory, should I say? And you get to do a little bit of that, and so there's all different sorts. The very healthy one that I'm running, and also one that I'm running if anybody just wanted to be in a group to come and do some singing, and we go down to, there's a bar a friend of mine has, and we can do some performances there. So there's a few different aspects to some of the retreats I'm running, but yeah, that's lovely, and lovely healthy food and a lovely vibe, and it's a gorgeous place as well. So yeah, so for everything, you know, you get for the week, everything is taken care of. All you've got to do is do your flight, collected from the airport. You got to book your flight yourself, but you're collected from the airport, brought back to everything else once you hop out of the airport is taken care of.
That's great. Yeah. That sounds absolutely fabulous. I'll be definitely one of those people to be on whenever we're free to. Well, I think probably later, but it probably won't be this year, Martina, will it?
Don't think it'll be this year now. You know, it's been, as I say, it was last September, and then we were saying, oh, maybe May. But yeah, but knew. I kind of knew when September didn't happen, and I just knew this is even there's nothing going to happen in May, and I really felt September there wasn't either. So hopefully next year, hopefully next,
Great. Yeah.
all of that will happen. So I would say
so much to look forward. Yeah, so much to look forward to. So you're going to have your sound healing course from the end of June going into July. One-to-ones, if you want to work with Martina, you can contact her through Instagram, obviously, or through you probably find something on Google. Sorry?
Through my Facebook page as well, Transformation.
Your Facebook, and is that just Martina? Is that Martina Flaherty? Your Facebook page?
Transformation through sound and voice, or I've got a Loch Ray vocal classes, or just my name.
Okay. Yeah. There's plenty of ways that people can get in contact with you. I love your energy. I love the vibe. Anyway, Martina, it's always a pleasure to meet and chat with you. And I'm looking forward to another tune healing, for another tune up. I am literally. Yeah. Tune myself up. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Marie, thank you so much. Lovely chatting to you. I've got to face big mess here. Teens, young adults don't live with me now. So there's the mess. There's the dog.
That's all right. I can't see it, so that's fine. Your world looks perfect, Martina. So it does. Listen, we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, good
Bye, darling.
Found your Monday magic. I just found that yesterday. So best of luck with all your.
Oh, thanks a million. Yeah. Great space to come. Yeah, the Monday magic is a nice safe place to come and to connect. Yeah, lovely. Talk to you again soon. Bye. Bye.
Later, have a lovely day. Bye.
I will. Bye, darling. I am. Next week I'm going to be back, and I'm going to talk with the gorgeous Deborah Kirby. Deborah has a book called Rose's Choice, and she basically channels the energy of her baby and in spirit, and she's a fascinating story to tell. So I look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye, everybody. Have a fabulous bank holiday weekend. Love and hugs to all. Bye.